Hey guys, Eliot here from Eliot's Excel Exercises. Welcome back to my third video in my series formulas. If you haven't seen the other two, equal sum and equal sum if, please go watch those. This video is about the SUMIFS function, or the SUMIFS. The other two really build on top of each other, and this one is one of the most advanced ones. Regarding the sum line, I guess you could say. Please go watch the other two if you're not so sure about this. This one is pretty advanced and it has a lot of different things in the formula itself to understand. So let's get right into it. As usual, we have our data set here. We have the account through the balance, and then we have our account, criteria, and amount over here on the right side or in the middle. And again, as always, the notes on the right side, you see the sum if, and today's SUMIFS. Sum's all numbers that meet the criteria, parentheses advanced, because it is quite a long formula. It can get pretty nitty-gritty. So let's get into it. We also have the other things you learned in the last few videos, or the last two videos. You have the auto sum, you have the lock cell, and you can check formulas here. So in this video, we're doing the SUMIFS, and I'll also be teaching you about the filters. And the filters is more or less a way to validate our work, and I'll get you through that once we get to it. As you see here, we have our accounts and we have our criteria, and right now it is greater than 1 million. So we'll see how that comes into play later on. So let's get into it. We have the equal sum. Here we go. The SUMIFS adds the cells specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. I'm gonna hit tab on that. Anytime I can save time not typing it all is a great thing. Then again, if you are a very quick typist, then you might as well just type the whole thing. But that little drop down right there is very helpful. You can just key up and down to find the exact formula you want. Then just hit tab and it'll autofill it and put the first parenthesis for you. So see here, you have the first thing you need is the sum range. You need a criteria range 1. You have the criteria 1 and a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll get to it. It just put a ... here just for now, but we will need a few more things to this formula. So the first thing you need is the sum range. So what in here do you want to sum? I want to sum the amounts. So here you go. Made a blue rectangle over the amounts. Last video I taught you guys how to lock cells. You can do that in the middle of writing a formula, so you don't have to go back into it later. So right here, I can just hit F4 and it'll do it. Go comma on that. Criteria range. So what in here, I'm looking for the accounts, right? Just like in the SUMIF. So we need to select the accounts, because within those accounts then we find the amounts, just like in the last video. Again, I'm going to lock those cells and hit comma. So the criteria 1 is, what is the main criteria? Of course, it's the account number. That is the leading driver of the formula. So we're going to click this one. So after we've selected the account number, for when we're filling the formula all the way down to the very end, of course we don't want this cell locked, right? So we're not going to hit F4 on the cell. Hit comma on that. And here you're gonna have a criteria range 2. So basically the second criteria of the formula. And what you want again is the amount. So we're going to click and drag over the amounts yet again. As you can see, it's a slightly different blue, but it is a different thing. And again, we're going to need to keep that range static. So we're going to lock the cells by hitting F4, comma, and the criteria 2, the driver of that selection, right? As opposed to the ones for the accounts. So the driver for this selection is here in the middle. You have the criteria, and right here it's the greater than 1 million. Again, we don't want to lock that one because we want it to go down independently and stay with the one next to it, right? So we want this greater than 1 million to stay with the account, right? We want them to stay instead of being uneven. So we're not going to lock that one. We go ahead and finish off the formula by just hitting enter. It gives us a 0, so that's fine. A lot of formulas will give you 0 if that's exactly what you told it to give you, right? So again, take the little cross sign, move it down, and here we go. We only have one result. So you're thinking to yourself, why is that? So let's think about it logically. So what the formula is really telling you, like let's say in a sentence format, is right. Find and total up the amounts that are over 1 million, see the greater than 1 million, for this account, right? So the only account we have on our page that has an amount greater than 1 million is the 22,000 account, right? So I said in the last video, always make sure you validate your work. Excel doesn't know what it's doing unless you tell it to, right? So here's where the filters come in. Down here I have filters. Filter a data set to show specific data, and what this does is you can filter out certain things and it'll hide the rest so they're not on your screen. This is how you get to the filters. Select the headers of your data range or whichever one you want to filter. Go to home, and up in the right you have sort and filter. Click that, and you have the funnel with the filter icon. Go ahead and click that, and now you see these little gray boxes on each of your headers, right? So let's go into account, click the gray box, and you'll see here you can sort it smallest to largest, largest to smallest, sort by color, sheet view. We don't want any of that right now. We just want the basic filtering, which is down here in this white section. So right now it's selected all, as you can see there, with the check mark and the check marks on each one. So what we want to do to validate our work is the only account that has an amount on there is the 22,000, right? So we're going to uncheck select all, so it deselects everything, and we're going to select back the 22,000. We're going to hit OK on that. Okay. There are 3 entries here. You have the 117, you have the 1624, and you have the 1.2 million here. So remember our criteria. It was over 1 million. Which of these checks is over 1 million? Well, it's the third one. And the reason why the other 2 are not included is, again, they're not over 1 million. So the formula is deleting them, not physically, but it's hiding them, and it's only totaling up the checks that are over 1 million. So we can validate that this formula is working as intended. And if you see in the rest of the list, you can just kind of peek at it. There's nothing else in here that's over 1 million. This one came a little close, but it's not. So again, we're sure that the formula is working. Another way you can check is change your criteria, right? So the criteria is in its own cell, and the formula is referencing that cell. So if you change what's in the cell, it'll automatically change what's in the formula, because we didn't hard code the greater than 1 million in the formula. We just referenced a cell and let the cell do all the talking, right? That's what's happening here. So let's just say I want to go down to 10,000, right? Delete 2 zeros off of that and hit enter. And what we want to do is we want to copy and paste them into here. And as you see, we're starting to get more results because there are more checks that are greater than 10,000, right? The filter isn't so, tiny this time. Now it's a little broader. We can capture a lot more checks. If, say, your management is saying, okay, show me the most profitable accounts or something like that, or show me the accounts are only more than 1 million, you can show them that the one account happened to be more than 1 million, stuff like that. So that's where this formula can come in handy. And another thing too I want to show you with the filtering is, another way to check is go into the amount filter, and you can see all the different unique amounts underneath that header. And of course you can deselect all of them and start from the bottom and start clicking your way up and doing stuff like that. That takes a little while, especially if you're trying to look for something specific. So I'm going to cancel that and I'll show you something else. Hit that filter again, and right here in the middle you have number filters. If you go over here, you have equals, does not equal, greater than, all these different ones, right? So the way I have this formula set up, and the easiest example to give you is just using the greater than. So let's click that. So here you can see show rows where amount is greater than. You have a drop down here. So let's just do 1 million again, right? We don't need the greater than sign because it's already kind of coded into the project here, and so the auto filter. So we could just write the number 1 million. And again, we can just hit OK. And watch. It only gave us the one line that was over 1 million. And if you remember, that's the exact same one that we had earlier in the video, where the formula gave us that information based on the criteria that we wrote. So that is another way of validating your work. Of course, you can go back to your filters. You can clear filter, or you can just hit select all and hit OK. Either is fine. They do the same thing. So I hope you enjoy that. The formula is pretty tough to get through, but once you learn it, it could be very useful if someone asks you a very specific question like, who are our lowest 3 producing accounts, right? Or something like that. You can very easily get that information for them. With this formula in a large data set, 10,000, 100,000 lines, very easy to pick and choose out of that. So I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe if you want to, and stay tuned for the next video. We are finally done with the sum functions, at least for now, and we'll be moving on to equals count. Hope to see you there. Have a good night. Thank you very much.